Hey everybody, it's Beej here on a bonus stream for all y'all. We're doing an anime season roundup for winter 2020, and then my preview for the stuff I'm going to watch in spring of 2020. Excuse me. And what that means is, well, I mean, we'll go through the stuff that I managed to actually watch, because I'll always say, here's everything I'm going to watch, and that's great. But then I don't actually get around to watching most of the stuff, or I can't find ways to watch it in Canada, or whatever happens. But yeah, you are enjoying this here on the Loading Ready Run channel. Thank you everybody for showing up, and big thanks to everyone who has subscribed, and also to people who are on our Patreon, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. You are all helping make a huge difference to us by keeping us running in this time when we have to stay inside. And yeah, it's winter 2020 was a bit of a... It was light on stuff. In fact, let's just move over right now and go do that. It was... Yes, thank you, Pat. As Pat Bear puts it in the chat, bit of a wet fart. It was not... It wasn't that great. I would zoom in more on this so you could see it, but and I love AniChart. I think AniChart's a great looking website. I've actually been using it to start tracking stuff that I'm watching now, because always looking for a way to do that better and better, and that integrates with my process. And AniChart actually seems to be a great way. They're not sponsoring this or anything. It's just I want to point that out. But if I go any bigger, we turn the whole thing into this weird kind of responsive design mode that makes it harder to see everything. Maybe that's better? All right, maybe we'll give this a shot at this bigger responsive type thing. But we are on winter, as you can see, way over there. And yeah, that's... I hope everybody enjoys stuff. If I'm going to cough, I'm going to cough. That's what's going to happen. And I guess let's talk about what we're drinking today. I'm enjoying cardamom French toast with skim milk and 3 drops of stevia. The really good stuff, the syrupy stuff. Okay, let's start flying through everything that I managed to watch. And then if I see stuff that went by, I'll be like, oh, that was this time, but I didn't manage to watch it. We'll get to that. So, didn't watch that, didn't watch that, didn't watch that, didn't watch that. Still going. Didn't watch Dorohedoro, mostly because when I tried to read the manga one time, I was just like, this is not really my jam. The art's very, I say dirty. It's got lots of speckling. I like really clean line art and stuff, and I was going to watch this because it obviously looks like it's cleaned up a bit, but never really got there, so... Sorry, guys, didn't watch. Gritty's a better word, I think, Goat Prince. Yes, thank you, Matt. Oh, good. I'm glad things are in alphabetical order. Let's talk about the absolute gem of the season. And if Ian was here, or anybody else was here, who has watched Ezoken ni wa te wo dasuna, they would also say there's no reason why you wouldn't make this your pick of the season. This is also, I think, a pretty strong pick for, like... This could probably be, like, one of the things that actually carries people through for the rest of the year. I could see people basically be like, yeah, but was this thing coming up in spring better than Eizouken? You know, like, it's like... I didn't know if I was going to like this or not, and I have a very hard relationship with Masaaki Yuasa, which happens to be Ian's favorite director. And part of that has to do with me not really... I don't like a lot of his choices, because he, as far as being a director, his directorial choices, animation-wise, are very kinetic. And I laud that kind of thing. Good for you for saying I'm going to make very, very kinetic, heavy motion kind of animation. But I've also found, like, when I watch Kimonozume, which I believe was one of his, Ping Pong is another one of his, the art style turns me off of that kind of experience. That I'm just like, I did not enjoy those things. Eizouken is amazing. It has the same kind of kinetic, stretchy. I shouldn't say stretchy, not like Warner Brothers, like that kind of thing. But the definitely that kind of. There's lots of activity, and it's a show about animation, so it should naturally have great animation. And there's even the way in which they create the world of what it is they're trying to get onto screen is it's wonderful. Like, you'll see it, the first episode should sell you immediately on this show, and it does it so tight. You get all three of these characters together so fast, and you are given a sense of the world that they're in, the world they want to create with their minds as well, the problems they've encountered trying to make that happen, but the what the seedling looks like what it is when you plant a seed and you're like, I'm going to make this happen, and the magic of watching two people who are very creative in different ways coming together to say, but what if we took my concept art and we laid your character art over top of it, and what's the kind of world we can build, and what's the, hey, you made this cute little ship, but what's it for? And you start exploring that, and they start doing it in this very, as you can see in the background, this very watercolored, pencil-like animation, and it's all like, not roughs, it's not like storyboarded, but it is like, we're going to animate this stuff and be a little bit slapdash about it, but we're going to give you so much movement, and all the sound effects are going to be done by people. It's like, we need this to be, and we need this thing to go, and they have people doing the Foley, which makes it feel like this is what a garage animation was really like, where you're trying to make these things happen. And then to have the third character, Kanamori, who I really like. She's the tall one, the one in the little white suit down in the lower right hand corner of the art there. She's their producer, essentially. She's the one saying, if you're going to make this happen, I'm providing you the kind of dictatorial direction that you need to make your stuff real. And she's the one that basically smashes Asakusa, who's the black-haired one in the weird flying thing, the weird flying belt, and Mizusaki, who's the cute girl in red, says the two of them, you guys need to do.
There's Kleenex over there.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. Being stuck inside, my nose gets a little bit runny. But the bringing them together, and then her having this role of showing off it's like, I can make you two make good things. You have to trust me first, and then you also have to you have to do as I say, and I'll make you see that this can actually be followed through. And yes, it's a little unrealistic. There's no way that three people could even make could make an animation like in the way that they're doing it, and even to have extra people come in and help out and stuff. It's like, it does not seem realistic that when they have schoolwork going on, they could also make a thing like this happen, but it doesn't matter because it is also a bit of a fantasy to make this stuff happen, and it's fun, and it's 12 episodes, and props to Masaaki Yuasa and props to Science Saru for making this great love letter to animation, and not just the process, but just the hard work and just creativity in general, to be like, how do you, what can you do to make your dreams a reality? I would definitely go watch this. This is my pick for the season. Really, it's the thing I was most excited to watch. Not watching Haikyuu, so didn't get to watch that. Not watching. Did not watch Hatsune Illusion. Not watching Pretty Cure. Tried to watch this, couldn't find a good source, or a source that I wanted to actually pay for or whatever, so it was like, This is I missed Hoseki Sho Richard Shi no Nazokante. And it's, it's a mystery thing, and it's about a guy who's very handsome and a jewelry appraiser. And I was like, this could be interesting. It also feels like it kind of leans on that Shonen Ai thing. Or, but I'm like, I don't know if it does. And I just was like, I don't think I'm going to be I'm not that interested that I need to go in search of it. Didn't watch Id Invaded. Didn't watch Infinite Dendrogram. VR MMO shows, or even manga in general. So many people are making them. It's very hard for me to be interested in a lot of them. I have found some manga that I am reading that in some cases where I keep up on it, and they tend to be samey, and that sucks. But I don't know if this was good or not. I didn't watch it. I hope if you did watch it and you enjoyed it, like anything else that I talk about here in the program, if it's something that I watched and I didn't like, and it's something that you watched and you did like, then you succeeded. You watched a thing you enjoyed, and that's great. Never feel bad about the stuff that you watch, as long as you understand the reasons as for why you're watching it. Which brings me to Yushusoku Reviewers, which I watched the first couple episodes of, and when it says ecchi, it's about, I'm reading the manga for this, it's about guys reviewing brothels in a fantasy realm that has monster girls, and all the brothels are themed on different monster girls and stuff, which I think is a very funny take, but it also is like, of course, then it is treating everybody like a sex object. I freely admit whatever. I tried watching this though, and was like, I can't deal with it. And there's a censored version and there's an uncensored version, and I tried to watch the censored version. I'm like, no. Then I watched the uncensored version. I was like, even more no. I don't know. I'm like, maybe I'll watch a couple more episodes of it, but I'm like, there's just something about I don't. And it got dropped multiple times because I guess for some reason people were like, fantasy males reviewing fantasy brothels and the women who work in them providing reviews to other people so they know where they should go if they're into certain things. We'll totally pick that up and put that on TV. Wait, the show's about what again? Like, how did you not know that was coming? How did they sell it? So yeah, I don't know if it's any good or not. I didn't watch it, so it probably delivered on exactly what it needed to. So this, I think, is what everyone's referring to as Bofuri, mostly because I can see Bo and I can see Furi in the title. I've just been calling it Defense Build Girl, because I would not be bothered to memorize Itai no wa iya nanode bo gyoroku ni kyoku furi shitai no omoimasu. Period. Which is, I believe, I don't like getting hurt, so I put all my points into defense, or something along that line. And this is fun. And it is another VR MMO game, and there's so many things that go on it where you're like, there's no goddamn way, not unless you're jacking shit into the back of your head, there's no way that you're going to have the same kind of experiences in this. There's lots of like hand-wavy whatever about how Maple, the main character, that's her name in game, Maple, so how she acquires new abilities and stuff like that. It's like, why would you have even put those things in the game? Why would all these characters have all this amazing stuff to do? And the game's only been around for like less than a year or whatever, but why would all these things be available? And also, though, frankly, don't care. This is fun. This is super fun. The manga's fun, too. It's a light novel, obviously, but I'm reading the manga. And actually, this gets way ahead of where I was reading in the manga, which was lovely, because it meant that, it was much more fun to watch this. It is getting a second season. So that's great. And this was just fun. And you have to be able to say to yourself, I get that it's wish fulfillment. I get that. It is a video game, and I get that there's a lot of weird things happening, and it's just like, it's a wish fulfillment thing because we want to see what happens if we take this, if Maple goes in an unusual direction and tries to do this one thing, but finds these more unusual ways to maximize her character. Because she's not min-maxing. She's just maximizing. She's like, everything goes into VIT. Everything goes into defense, right? You just pump all your points into that so that you can't get hurt. It's wonderful. It's very fun. She's max minning, kind of, yeah. She is 0 in, like, agility, so she has, like, she can't even move fast in the game. She kind of walks slowly and stuff. It's very funny. And, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend watching it. Jibaku Shonen Hanako-kun. I did not watch this. I think I was going to download it, and then I watched a PV or read some more, and I was like, I don't think that's going to be my jam, so I skipped that. I think I might have watched the first episode of this. I can't remember because it made like 0 impression on me. Yeah, I might even have fallen asleep. It might have just been like kind of the same the night when that happened. I can't remember. So yeah, and Dark Morford in the chat saying that Koisuru Asteroid was fantastic or excellent. Dark Morford's mentioned before how Dogo Kobo does good series. If you like these comedic slice of life style things, they are very good. I think they're the ones who did Seiwaku Kitsune Senko-san. Senko-chan? Anyway, yeah, it's... I would assume this is probably pretty good. It just did not put its hooks in me. Kyoko Sweetie, did not watch that. Keep scrolling down. I think we were going to try to. No, I think maybe not. Another Madoka Magica thing, was not interested. Orphan got a reboot, didn't even care about it the first time. Murenasa Setan Gakuen. I thought about watching this. I think I couldn't find a source or something, and I was just like, okay, I'm not going to worry about that. I had a lot of trouble finding stuff, and so I ended up missing out on a lot of things, but yeah, Nekopada, I think I was just not... This thing, I think, really just kind of threw me off. Also, this thing as well, and I was just like, I don't think I am into that idea, so that's fine. Number 24, college rugby thing. Didn't watch that. Watched one episode of Oda Cinnamon Nobunaga. The first episode is the same joke over and over and over again. And I got sick of it. And I'm like, I know it's probably based on a Yonkoma. It's just... This sounded way more exciting as a comedy, but it just did not deliver. Like, I just really felt like... And I've watched lots of stuff that's like, hey, let's tell you about Nobunaga, or let's tell you about whatever. And I was like, I was waiting for a little more of that to be like, so I had a relationship with so-and-so, and so we'll get along. But it just seemed like every dog that was like, because all the generals are being reborn, like everybody's being reborn, everyone who was important to Nobunaga. And I'm like, let's see what this will be like now that they're all at the dog park, and now they're trying to do whatever and control areas of the dog park or whatever. But when I watched the first episode, I'm like, I don't care if any of the more interesting stuff is coming. The first episode was very repetitive, and I'm like, I can't... There was no reason to make it that repetitive, I felt like. There's way more you could get through. Oshiga Budokan Itte Kuretara Shinu. No, did not watch that. Most music shows I've been giving a miss on. Like music and idol shows I'll tend to miss. I swear Heather and I watched the first episode of Pet, and then we stopped. Yes? Sure. Plunderer. It's funny because this character here also shows up in Hajimete no Gal. It's literally the same design. Except for the belt. Did not watch Plunderer. Okay, Runway de Warate. We have one episode left. We haven't finished watching it yet. because it's a dramatic series, and sometimes when it's 11 o'clock at night, the last thing you want to do is like make yourself feel like, oh, terrible things happening. You want to do that a little earlier in the evening and have comedies to go to kind of cheer yourself up. This is good. It's especially fun when you have... There's a few things where I'm like, okay, that's a little bit over the top. It's fun. It was fun for me to watch because of when Heather and I were living in Olds and she was taking her costume construction courses and doing her diploma down there. That was I got to hear an awful lot about fabric and design and how you do things, and like just learning all the different terminology and all that kind of stuff. And then hearing about, the industry's going to be like this, not from her, but secondhand from like her teachers and stuff, saying the industry is like this, the industry is like that. And costume construction is more of like for film and theater, obviously, as opposed to fashion straight out. And they did have the fashion program was integrated in, they're all part of the same program. But that means that I've learned a lot about fabrics, and I've learned a lot about like how you construct something, and just by hearing about it, I have no idea how to do it, but just hearing about it was very interesting. And this was interesting. And if there was more of it, I think that would be great. I'm keen to see how the 12th episode ends. I don't think they're gonna make a second season. I don't know yet. There's a lot of drama in play about like why you want one person to succeed, why you want another person to succeed, what happens when their goals are at odds with each other, what happens when they are trying to work together. And I think it was quite good. Has a bit of that, to me, really felt like Welcome to the Ballroom, like that kind of thing, like people trying to work together and trying to make things happen, but everyone has their own dramatic things. And yeah, watch first couple episodes, see if you find it interesting or not. Wasn't my favorite of the season, but still was good. I bet you the manga goes into way more stuff. Show by Rock. Didn't watch that. Okay, Somali and the Forest Spirit. Somali Tomori no Kami-sama. I'm reading the manga for this, and so I am further ahead, and also, not by much, but I am further ahead. They made what felt like an anime original ending for it, because I don't think it's getting any more, but it's not like the anime original ending is like, it completely changes what happens. It's just kind of been like, oh, we'll just kind of take this chunk and we'll kind of just make a little sew-up thing to happen right here. It's just we need to be able to end it and be like, and there, but it's good and interesting if you like single dad stories. That's essentially what's happening here, where an emotionless golem who protects the forest discovers a lost human girl who was chained up and probably going to be sold as a slave or as food or as something like that, because the world is now inhabited by monstrous beings, essentially, like bipedal rabbits and shit like that, like scary lizard men and all that kind of thing. And the golems, for whatever reason, have been like seeing to this world, and this isn't this was Earth once kind of thing. There's never any of that kind of stuff put out. It's just that there were humans, and then there were non-humans, and there was a lot of fighting, and humans lost and got persecuted and or being driven to near extinction, as they say in the thing. The golem's great because he decides he wants to then take care of Somali, who she's the little girl there, and it's kind of sweet to see that, because he doesn't really know what he's doing. He doesn't really have emotions. He's trying to read what it is that she wants. She's like 5 years old, and so she's growing and he doesn't have, he's kind of at the end of his lifespan as well. Like, he doesn't have a ton of time left, but he's like, I will try to find humans somewhere and bring her to them so that she can have a actual family kind of thing. I think it's good. I think it's really nice. It's sweet. It's there's some tension. There's a lot of tension because, of course, to everybody else that she walks around, she's technically food, which is why she has the little horn things on her hood. And yeah, it's I think it was good. Watch a few episodes, see if you like it. Railgun T. That got, as far as I can tell, goodness me. My apologies, everybody. As far as I can tell, production got interrupted because I wasn't seeing much of this coming across my airwaves. We have up to episode 9 available right now for us, and it's more magical index scientific railgun. It's just more of that. I made the mistake of trying to read a little bit more about this whole like weird system they have set up in Academy City, and learning about Accelerator, because Accelerator was in like the last railgun, but then you find out that, well, because of what happened in the Accelerator side series, there's stuff to go on. And then I realized that the person who is writing this, or people who are writing this, I have no idea if it's more than one person, but everyone who is writing the light novels for this cannot be stopped. They are prolific. They have written a ton of shit, and everything's interconnected, and they're building this fantastic world, and I'm worried if there's something the matter with them, because it's just so much, and it's too much, and the fans have made incredible wikis that go into the tiniest detail, and I'm like, but I didn't like Index. Like, watch the first episode of Index like 3 times, I think, and I just could not get past the first episode. I'm like, this is not my jam. But I liked Railgun, and I liked the second series of Railgun, and I thought we'd like this too. And I kind of do, because I know all the characters by now. I was in the right mood for it. But I also don't know why things are happening and what's going to happen with them. So I realize that the way I like to take in Railgun now is binge it. I want all of it, and then I will watch a few episodes at a time and go from there. So yeah, don't know what else to make of it. If you like the Toaru etc. series, this is another anime that plugs directly into that, but I bet you're already reading the frickin' translated light novels, wherever they are. Uchitama did not watch this because it is a spin-off of something else. It's a spin-off of this thing that came out in 1983, and I guess it's a character for stationary accessories, and I was just like, don't care about any, I'm sorry, none of that. Sorry. Yokai Watch Jam, I don't even play Yokai Watch, so I don't care. Tried to watch Breakers, couldn't find it anywhere for me to watch. I hope somebody else has found it, and found if it was good or not. It's a TV short, but this wasn't even information that I was aware of when they were first developing it. But yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to watch, para-athletes. I'm like, let's see what that's all about. It sucks because the image you see here does not give you any indication of, other than like one person in a wheelchair. You can't tell that he's got running blades on. It's not immediately obvious that this character is missing their arm, right? Like, you have to kind of see that. I'm assuming the person with the ball is probably visually impaired. I don't know. Anyway. Hentatsu, I wanted to watch, could not seem to find anywhere, so whatever. Heya Camp I did watch because I have watched Yudo Camp, and Heya Camp is just, let's travel around Yamanashi Prefecture, as it says, and they'll do this trip, and we'll get to see all these interesting things that are all around the prefecture by doing a stamp rally, because the kids have a stamp rally, and it's very short, it's very cute, and the ending theme sounds like it's half English, half Japanese, and you never know when it's one or the other. And yeah, it's just super fast. And if you liked Yudo Camp, and I think it's really easy to like Yudo Camp, you'll probably like Heya Camp as just a nice little follow-on. Hopefully they'll make another Yudo Camp if there's more to be had of it. Did not watch that. Did not watch that. Did not watch that. Did not watch that. Oh, we're getting to the end here. Tried to find Natsunagu because I was like, oh, this could be interesting. College student goes to Kumamoto after losing contact with her friend after the 2016 earthquakes. I'm pretty sure that this is part of that. Was it the Kumamoto Revival Project? I can't remember, but there's a second season of Yoda Camp coming. Thank you, Dark Morford, and Pat Bear, and yes, thank you everybody, and Mythdom. Thank you all for being in the chat today while I sit here and talk about this. I keep looking back to the chat, but I don't do it that often. But thank you very much. I'm glad you guys are all enjoying this. Rebirth, I did not watch. I watched the first season of this. Did not care enough about it because it felt like the similar jokes over and over again. And this is another one of these. This girl, or all of these girls, are all from a certain prefecture. And this guy is from Tokyo and moves to that prefecture, and he doesn't know anything about the prefecture, so he will spend time with them. He knows all the stereotypes about the prefecture, and they're like, there are no stereotypes, we are all normal. I'm this stereotype, I'm this stereotype, I'm this stereotype, so it's all easy to digest. And I kind of just didn't... I love this kind of like disguised tourism anime because it's really interesting to hear about why things are different between different areas, but sometimes it also is kind of on the realm of, well, you see, if you're from Calgary, Alberta, then you're going to wear a cowboy hat in the middle of frickin' July because the Calgary Stampede is on, and the entire city wears blue jeans at that point and puts old fencing outside of the bank to show that we are all taking part in this great Alberta thing that we are doing. We're all in on the Stampede. Whereas if you live in Edmonton, you're not going to wear a cowboy hat during that time. You're going to wear like an old-timey fancy suit. Because we did Klondike days for a while, because Edmonton was a place that people would stop on the way to the Klondike if you were passing through from that direction. Most people are coming up from San Francisco up through BC, essentially. So Klondike days, which eventually, like, we weren't really a major part of that, so maybe we should change the whole thing to call it capital X. And everyone's like, that's fucking stupid. We're going to change it to K days, and just because that's what everyone called it. And that's how regional this shit is. It doesn't... It's just like, okay, now I know this weird thing. Am I going to do anything with that information? Kinda not. So that was how Yatogame-chan felt to me at the end of the season. It's these shorts too, but I was just like, I can't bother. Didn't watch that. Didn't watch that. Not watching Boku no Hero Academia. I know that disappoints a lot of people probably. I read the first dozen chapters, it felt like, and just got to a point where it's like, okay, you've just done a weird tournament fighting thing in order to get through initial training in the high school. Is that done? Great. Now I'm going to need you to go to we're going to skip a few months or whatever, go to this tournament fighter so you can do your finals or sports day. I can't remember. And I was like, oh, is that how it's going to be, manga? Is it going to be, now that I've established these characters, I'm going to tell you everything about them in one tournament fighter after another? I don't even know if that's going to be true or not. But it's what you set up for me immediately. And if I was into tournament fighters and then everything got crazy, then that'd be fine. But if I'm not into tournament fighters, it did not grab me right off the bat. And so I end up uninterested. And I know that the people have told me, it's like, the plot changes. There's a lot of different things going on. I'm even reading this. It's like, the League of Villains squares off with Overhaul of the Yakuza, vying for total control of the shadows. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. It's probably not a tournament fighter. So there we go. So... But it dropped me. And then when I tried to watch the anime, that also, I was like, maybe this will be different. Maybe because it'll go faster. And we watched a few episodes of it. It was just like, that was not my jam. So, yeah. On the other hand, an actual tournament fighter The best sports anime about not a sport, and yet still an incredible toll on your body if you're to believe what they tell you. Chihaya Furu, Season 3. What a great, like, the 24, 25, however many episodes. Oh, this was great. Came in at the right time, did all the great things through to the end of the season, ended in a way that was mostly like I was like, I'm really satisfied with where this is, but I'm also like, I'm really like, oh, I feel bad. It's just like, man, like this was wonderful, and it's lovely to see more of it playing out, and it's great to have more people to feel like you're rooting for. And this is popular enough, like in Japan, that I believe we received Pretz from Tokyo Treat at the Moon Base, where Chihaya Furu was the featured thing on the outside of the Pretz box, and I'm like, so it isn't like a thing that nobody really knows about. Like this is quite the thing. There will almost certainly be Chihaya Furu 4. Who knows when that's going to show up? I don't. But it's so much fun. And you do start to care a lot more. And I have no idea how they justify it with the consultants. Like, this is all based on the manga anyway. But like, I have no idea how, if the consultants that they talk to are like, yeah, these are the things that you learn how to do when you play Karuta. These are the things you learn about game sense, or learning about how to listen to things and the chances you take, but it's tense and it's fun and you like, I know that it's a story, so I can kind of see how it's going to end, but at the same time, anyway, a lot of fun. Didn't watch Egg Car. Didn't watch Fate Grand Order. Haven't never watched any Fate. I was kind of interested in seeing this because that seems like a fun idea to another kind of reboot of Astro Boy, but wasn't really that concerned with doing it. Dropped this like a hot fucking rock after the first 12 episodes ended, and haven't missed it. Kaiju Step Wandabara, I kind of wanted to watch it, but it is so, like, I don't know anything about Ultraman, and I thought it would be fun to kind of see, okay, well, these are all the monsters that get fought in Ultraman. Here's how they interact. And I'm like, that could be kind of interesting, but didn't go out of my way to look for it. Mighty Mashita Iruma-kun. Sometimes demon and vampire stuff can be hard for me, so where I'm just like, it doesn't really quite grab me, and I do like a good comedy, and this does look like it's probably a fun comedy, but I don't know, something about it just didn't really like. It felt like a story that's been told before, based on the synopsis, so I was like, I don't think I want to grab it. So, Pat Bear says this was this was fun. All right, that is good to know. Nanatsu no Taizai. I didn't watch the first 2 seasons, so we didn't watch this either. Phantasy Star Online 2. I think if I'd played the game, maybe I would care more. So kind of didn't care about this. Radiant 2, didn't watch the original Radiant. Super Shido, didn't really care about that. Goblin Slayer, Goblin's Crown. So movie-wise, didn't want to watch the High School Fleet movie because we watched the series, but though I just want to see what the Reconquista was. But anyway, it's a recap. Fair enough. Oh, they're recapping the whole thing in 5 movies. Maybe I'll do that instead. I would watch the movie. I have no idea what the plot of it is. It's a sequel, I guess, the OVA, but kind of also don't really care. If I want to watch a bunch of girls piloting a ship, I'd probably watch Moedatsu Space Pirates. Give me a sequel to that. That was a lot of fun. King of Prism All-Stars. Kyochu Reto. Don't know anything about that. The Made in Abyss movie. Adam got very mad at me when I didn't tell him that the movie had been made. I wasn't even aware it had been made because it didn't come up in my feeds to let me know that it had been made or that it was available. I don't know if he actually ended up watching it or not, but hopefully he did, because he really does like Made in Abyss. It's definitely his kind of bleak drama that he really, really loves. Didn't watch Meet You to Rescue. I don't usually watch movies, so most of the stuff, like this, very old school, kind of want to watch this, even though I don't watch this, but I love the idea of young delinquents who decide to start a rock band and they never even touched instruments. I'm like, cool. I don't even think you'd pay me to watch this. The movie was planned, event was canceled. Fair enough. This sounded kind of interesting, but I don't really, like, when it comes to, like, Shonen Ai and that kind of thing, it's not really my jam, so I don't know anything about that. The Shirobako movie I need to see. Haven't seen that yet, but do want to see it. Wanted to watch this because it's a special story, and we liked Akka. I thought Akka was a really... I thought it was an interesting show. I thought a very interesting premise, definitely. And would definitely watch more of it. You know, like, don't know anything about Altered Carbon. Just protect a tattooist while investigating the death of a Yakuza boss. All right. Nope. Didn't want... Jesus, wait. What is going on with her boob? Is it literally that her suit is cut out? Maybe? That's weird. Anyway. Didn't know about these. I'll watch these later. Gaina Tamager. Boy, this seems very Gotcha Man feeling. That's cute. Did not ever watch Girls in Panzer, so didn't watch that. Grand Blue Fantasy, no. Haikyuu, no. Haikyuu, more stuff. Haishin Yusha. Hakume no Tsubasa. Ah, yes. I was like, oh, this is interesting. And some struggle with conflict of young people living in the Galar region. Oh! Oh, it's a Pokemon movie. Okay. Yes. I should probably find this and watch this. I know we're getting a second season, but this is the Ascendance of a Bookworm. But if it's a side story, that's kind of interesting, just to hear a little bit more about that, but I don't have to watch it. No, didn't watch that. This definitely has the old school Gundam look to it. It's an animated feature to promote a high-grade model. Cool. Zodiac, Koisuru Asteroid, something or other, Kute Dragons. I heard this is supposed to be interesting, but yeah, didn't watch that. Oh, they made shorts for... I'm already reading the manga, so it's like I didn't really feel like I needed to go out of my way to watch shorts, because I imagine all of these are based on the short bits that are at the end of the manga chapters anyway. And Machikado Mazoku is a lot of fun. I really like it. Microphone Soul Spinners, I don't know anything about that. Don't know anything about the Mobile Suit Gakuen, hang on. Oh, Reconquistunji, okay, shorts. Mugen no Junin, Immortal. Wasn't that interested in that. Mushikago no Kagaster. No. All of these things are kind of coming up. No. Oh, yeah, okay, this. Right. Why is this in this section? I thought I had everything in order of, like, shows first and whatever, but... Riki na koi ni ochita no de shoumei shitemita. Anyway, this is a story of this guy in glasses and this woman in glasses, and they seem like they like each other, and they're also, like, grad students. In fact, I believe all of these characters are grad students in the same lab, and they are scientists. And she says I think I'm in love with you. And he's like, oh yeah? Well then prove it. You've got evidence, don't you? We're all scientists here. I don't want to just go out on a limb and say that we are both supposed to love each other immediately. Like, let's figure this out. Can we actually quantify what love looks like? How do we know if we're in love? And she's like, you're damn right. Let's figure this out. It's cute. It's fun. It's not the best of the season, but it's just kind of like, oh, this is kind of nice. And yes, as the Flying Dutchman says, it has a very broad understanding, incredibly broad, of how labs and grad school science actually works, because everyone's picking their own project, and the guy who's in charge comes in, and he's like, the prof comes in, he's like, this sounds like an interesting project. Sure, yes, proceed. You know, like, what discipline are you guys in? You're grad students and you're scientists, but what is your discipline? Like, it doesn't even make any sense, but whatever. And so, yeah, it's fun. It's Love Doctors. Yes, thank you, Smash TCG. So, yeah. Oh, there's a mini version of Run We Duate. This is the thing, all these shorts getting released on Twitter accounts. It's very interesting. That's becoming more and more of a thing now. No, not interested in that. Or Strike the Blood. What? Really? Why? Why Tenshi Muyo? Why? Okay, whatever. Unaired 13th episode, beach episode. Tsujo kogeki ga zentai kogeki ni nikai kogeki no okasa no suki desu ka? Nope, don't care. Nope, that I wasn't watching that to begin with. Great, okay. So the one thing I did watch, so a movie I did watch during this intervening period, because Ian and Corey said, we're going to go to this, do you want to go too? And then just left it up to everyone to decide if we wanted to go or not. And I was like, okay, cool, I will go see Ride Your Wave. Science Saru, Masaaki Yuasa. I almost cried at the end. It's really good. It's really well executed. It's very interesting. The animation is nice. I showed up late and had to get caught up on the first 3 or 4 minutes, but it did such a good job of setting everything up. And I am credulous and gullible when I sit down to a movie like you wouldn't believe. I will suspend my disbelief so much. And I'm willing to just have this thing tell me the story, and I'm not going to question it. And so it's very easy for me to watch a thing and just have my heartstrings tugged on. And it was a lot of fun story-wise, and it was a lot of fun technically, like visually. I recommend watching it. It was another treat. And it's another reason to see why Science Saru is as good as they are. Let us then wrap up on that. And we're going to... I have 11 minutes before we have to do before our break. But rather than take a break now, I'm going to wait until we get there. But let's go on to spring, because this is the end of the Winter 2020 Roundup, my review of stuff I watched, which I didn't watch a lot of it, as you can see. Let's move on to spring of 2020. I haven't watched a lot of this stuff yet. I don't know if anything's going to be good or not. I'm probably going to be hearing from you guys on this stuff as well. Maybe you're reading the manga. Maybe you've watched more PVs, because I haven't watched any of them. So this... a thing has just come in from Terra Spider-Morphe. Masaaki retired from the leadership of Science Saru yesterday, as far as I know. Don't know if it's been mentioned yet. I guess Anime News Network would have some information about that. That's kind of wild. Maybe he's moving on to another thing, or maybe is it a retirement of the leadership, and maybe not, he'll keep directing, but it's like, I'm not going to lead the studio, someone else is going to lead the studio. I don't know. Who knows what any of that is, because I didn't read any of the news, but thank you so much, Terra Spider-Morphe. So I am on AnnieChart.net for anyone who is wondering. Let me have another drink. All right. Appare Ranman. And I looked at this, I'm like, what the hell is going on with all these characters? What time period or anything is this set in? And you start reading. After a certain mishap, the brilliant but socially inept engineer Appare Sorano and the shrewd but cowardly samurai Kosame Ishiki find themselves drifting on a boat from Japan to America. Broke, the two decide to compete in the Transamerica Wild Race to win the prize and return to Japan. Oh, it's JoJo Steel Ball Run, but not. Okay, cool. I haven't even read Steel Ball Run, so I have no idea. But I'm like, yeah, it's a giant race in a steam-powered car they built from LA to New York? Yeah, you know what? I'll watch this. This sounds like it could be a gas. They don't have, there's nothing about, is it a drama? Is it a comedy? Is it an adventure? I'm like, it's probably all of those things. Who knows what it's going to be like? But I didn't even realize this. I was like, I'm just going to watch this. It's PA Works! Of course it's going to be good! I am watching this. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Steel Ball Run is part 6, part 7. Yeah, 6 is Stone Ocean, 7 is Steel Ball Run, because JoJo 8 is JoJo Lion. Part 7? Okay, thank you. And it's after a universe reset, I believe, and Johnny Joestar and a friend of Johnny Joestar, who can't walk but can summon a horse as his stand, then rides across America in a giant race so that so they can become president. I don't know. I actually don't know. Like, I don't know. Who knows? That could have been right. Like, to collect the pieces of Jesus. My apologies. This is probably not that, but this also sounds like fun. Steam-powered car, two people who are like, engineer and a samurai, and it's like, and then all these weird people show up, and like, that is an odd-ass outfit this dude's got over here, whatever, okay, cool. Clearly this is all happening in a time when you would have a steam-powered car, but you'd also have an exposed midriff on a woman like this. She must be from China, because you can see the brocade, not the brocading, you can see the seams done on her outfit. And I guess, yes, she's wearing kind of poofy pants with that she is from China, where it is okay to show your entire midriff below your breasts, I guess. I don't know what's happening. Doesn't matter. Gonna watch that. Argo Navis from Bang Dream. Bang Dream, you say? Arte. Sorry, Dark Morphord, music shows. I'm usually not that interested. Arte just got the first episode, waiting to watch it. Story of a girl from a noble family who wants to become an artist. I think it's going to be interesting. It's drama, romance. She wants to paint stuff. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be interesting. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. She's trying to become an artist when women weren't supposed to be artists, right? It's, men are the artists. And I think there was even a time, I think even it's come out recently, that there were some male artists who were having, their wives were painting stuff for them as well. And in order to make money from that, they were passing it off. I think it's even like a recent thing, too, where it's like, women were painting stuff under their husbands' names just so they could get it out there. And it's kind of just this hush-hush accepted practice thing. That's what happened. So I'm very interested in Arte. So Arute. Anyway, Bakugan. BNA by Trigger. I will give this a shot. I was going to give this a shot before I knew it was Trigger, actually, because hey, animal people. I like animal people. And especially like the idea of Michiru turns into a Tanuki human just immediately. So she runs away and lives in a special city area called Anima City that was set up 10 years ago for animal humans to be able to live with themselves. Neat. Sure, why not? I can't wait to figure out what the hell this means and what it's all about. And yeah, I'm down. I believe this is probably Michiru here. This is Shiro, I'm going to guess, who's the wolf human who hates humans, and they become friends, I imagine. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I think it'll be just fun. So, yeah. Though I like this, though, where Pat Bear says, the last line turned me off. It's like, they unexpectedly get wrapped up in a large incident. It's like, probably, yeah. I mean, who knows what that means? But I'm going to give it a shot. We'll see how that works out. It's fantasy comedy action. It does not say slice of life, so I guess there's probably an overarching plot. And especially because there's like a guy back here in a mask with like a, Parhelia star thing going on there. It's like, there are probably some people here doing experiments and shit. And it's all dark and whatever. Who knows? Bungo no Alchemist, Shinpan no Haguruma. They're all cursed by their taints. I don't think I'm going to watch this. Thought about it, though. I was like, maybe. I think... anyway. Cardfight Vanguard, Gaiden, nope. Digimon Adventure, never was into Digimon, so I don't think this is going to be my jam. I think a lot of people will be into more Digimon, so there you go. Slam. Fucking dunk. Of course I'm going to watch more Fruits Basket. We really enjoyed the first season. It is a lot of fun to watch Fruits Basket in 1080p, 16:9, filling up my screen. This feels great. This could not come out at a more perfect time to have something very nice. So, they just need to go back to Vic Blanca's lucky ending as the ending theme, because it's all it ever needs to be. So, anyway. I know not everyone is as hot on this. I believe even Dark Morford had said this, like, I just wish that they had the original cast back. Like, I'm sure you have other reasons maybe why you don't like it. I don't want to make it into like a one-sided conversation on this, obviously. But yeah, this was just great, and there's more of it, and it follows the manga, which is interesting for me because I've never read the actual manga, so I'm interested to see how it all goes. It's felt great, so yeah. Glad to have more of it. Fugo Keiji, Balance, Unlimited. It has 2 colons in the title. Don't even know why. Based on a novel. I'm like, okay, could be interesting. Centers around millionaire Daisuke Kanbei, the heir to one of the wealthiest families in Japan, who was assigned as a detective to the Modern Crime Prevention Task Force, aka an unpronounceable thing, at the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department. So he's very rich and uses his wealth to solve all sorts of crimes. And I'm like, oh, cool. I like a good mystery, and if it's a fun mystery, and if it feels like interesting, then I'm down with this. And if it's not, if it's frustrating to watch, but I don't know, it was a novel, and it's getting turned into an anime. I guess somebody at Cloverworks feels like it must be worthwhile to make this, so we'll see what happens. And of course, he and his partner are the original odd couple. They're not going to get along. Give it a shot. We'll see what happens. I've read the manga. I think the manga is actually coming back. Like I think it got renewed because it got pulled out of serialization. I think it's actually it got put back into serialization, which would be weird, right? Because it got pulled out and then it's like, we're making an anime of it. But yeah, this is the manga's great. I haven't watched. I have an episode waiting for me. I haven't watched it yet, but the manga's great because it's goofy as hell. It's such an unusual premise. You can't see the dinosaur. The dinosaur's under here. You can see his hand. He's just this weird, like, Barba Papa blue goofball. Like, it's so weird. But it's a nice, fun thing, and there's nothing weird or off about it. And it's just, watch an episode of it. It's just give yourself the permission to, turn your brain off and just enjoy a thing. So, Pat, thank you. The second half of the episode is wild. I look forward to this. I cannot wait because I really want to see this, how it's animated. Galgaku, Hijini Girls Square Gakuen. No. All right, that's my timer. And I'm going to leave it here for a second, and to ensure that everyone takes a break when they're supposed to, because I need to have my break and I need to run some ads, we are going to go to commercials, and I'll be back after about 3 minutes. So please enjoy the commercials or enjoy our slideshow as you will see. There's the commercial right there. And we're back. Hi, everybody. Give everybody a second to kind of come back if you got it from your tables or whatnot, or your desks, or off your couch, or whatever it is that you... I have no idea how you're watching any of this. Man. Talking by myself at a single clip for as long as I have, I should definitely have... you put them in your mouth and you suck on them. Fisherman's Friends. I should have had one of those with me. Brownie points, not Peipacoa. Though I did find that I found the bottle jar of syrup at in the Asian food aisle of the Real Canadian Superstore, just hanging out down the... Like, I would have assumed that would have ended up like maybe in our pharmacy section, even if it was in like the supplements area or something else, but it's like, no, this is just part of the food section. And I'm like, if I didn't know what that was, I would have just assumed it was food, right? Like some sort of thing you add to whatever. But yeah, everyone really, and it's like $4.68 for the big box of it, and I was like, that seems pretty good. So, and Dark Morphord tried Fisherman's Friends. Okay, so. You find them strong, do you? Did you try the extra strength ones, the ones in the white pack? Those are my favorite. In fact, I lucked out because it turns out that Dale and Jacob and myself, all independently, were all like, so, you know, what do you use to soothe your throat? And we're all like, Fisherman's Friends, extra strength. They're like, yeah, me too. We're like, oh, yeah. Like, it is one of... I'm just going to go get them, actually. Give me 1 second. I should have probably muted my mic just in case, but anyway, you know how that is. So this is what I'm talking about. The original Extra Strong. It's 22 lozenges. They look like death. Like when you look at these things, you're supposed to put that in your face and eat it. This weird, like, brownish thing. You sure do. They contain medicinal ingredients, 0.9% menthol, WW. So I get water by weight, whatever you want to say. And eucalyptus oil, 0.12%, W by W. And then there's sugar, licorice powder, dextrin, tragacanth. Yeah, just tragacanth. And capsicum tincture. They are very minty, and they are eucalyptus as hell. But you can get them in different flavors. Like these are the original ones, which are extra strong. You can get them in sugar-free varieties and not. They come in cherry, honey lemon. There's a regular flavor that just has lower versions of everything. The regular one comes in like a tan package. There's, I believe, straight menthol ones. The cherried ones are very sweet, and they still have the menthol whatever, and I think they have just a little hint of eucalyptus in them, I think. But yeah, these are pretty damn good. You have to really like licorice, I think, too, so... Yeah, the original ones are the only ones without sorbitol artificial sugar. Ah, okay. So the capsicum tincture is the last thing they listed on medicinal ingredients. And it's probably just to have like some sort of other burn to them. Anyway, I am assuming by this point everyone is back listening again. Let's talk about Gleipnir. I'm not watching it. Moving on. No, actually, it's... I looked at it and I didn't know whether I wanted to watch it or not. And it sounded like an interesting idea, because I'm assuming that the main character turns into the weird-looking beast thing in the background. I'm like, okay. And I like the idea of, his decision to use his power to save a girl spells the end for his quiet life. It's like, okay. And then I saw the comedy, drama, ecchi. And I'm like, romance, sci-fi. I'm like, weird mix. Don't know what this tag is doing in there, and then sometimes I'm like, I don't know what that actually means one way or the other, but then there's also a romance tag added, and I'm like, I don't... maybe it's not my thing. Maybe it is my thing, and I'll never watch it and find out. I don't know, but anyway. Right. Hachi nante sore wa nai desho. Or, I'm the eighth son. Are you kidding me? Fair enough. I watched the first episode of this today, actually. It is, and maybe I'll see if anyone else has seen it already. It is weirdly paced. It is slow. That kind of slow. Where people will be talking, and then there will be a brief pause to make time for them to change to a different scene, so that everyone can turn and react and then say something else. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, it's interesting. Like, the premise is kind of interesting, that it's like, I'm the eighth son, and I'm like a little kid, and I don't understand anything, but I'm actually a 25-year-old man who, like, falls asleep alone in my apartment, and when I wake up, I'm in a child's body in some sort of weird isekai. And I'm just like, okay, well, let's see what happens. But they start the show by showing him, like, as a teenager. This is what he looks like as a teenager in whatever. And doing all this magical stuff, which takes a little long to happen. And I'm just like, in the first 5 minutes of this show, they accomplish what any other show would have done in about 2 minutes. And I really felt disappointed about that, because I'm like, you could probably get through stuff a lot faster, but it also seems like you're trying to make things happen so that you can have a cutoff at the right time in the story you're trying to tell, which in this case, the end of the first episode, he meets a magician who gets alerted to his presence when he was like a 5-year-old, because he touches a crystal ball and the crystal ball like reacts to it. And like somewhere in another in like the countryside, this magician goes, "What?" And then he like finds him and is like, I'm a magician and you'll be a magician too. And I'm spoilers, I guess. It doesn't really matter. So I don't know if it's going to be good or not, and I probably watch the second one and see if it actually picks up a bit or it turns into what I'm hoping for it to be. There's one that I'm reading about. There's one I'm reading about a guy who like wins $80 million or something, or like some amazing amount of money. So he quits his job. He decides to like move to this house that his dad owned out in the countryside and be like, I'm just going to live out here from now on. I'm going to buy some stuff, live by myself, do whatever the hell it is I want. I have time for all these projects and stuff. And his dad's like, hey, just so you know, be careful. This is not this show, by the way. I'm talking about something completely different. Just so you know, there's a door in the back. I just be cautious about that door. And he's like, oh yeah. And so he ends up going through the door, and the door is like connected to like a really long, looks like a long mining shaft, like a horizontal like mining tunnel. And he follows it to the end, and he comes out of a cave in the middle of a forest. And he's like, oh, that's weird. Why did Dad build his thing on the back of this whatever? And he walks some more, and he discovers that there's people living back there in a weird... it's a portal to another world. He ends up in another world, and they are very poor, and they don't have much of anything. And he's like, oh, well, what if I try to... And he starts to help them improve their lot in life by teaching them things about agriculture, or like, building them a water wheel or whatever, like these kind of things, teaching them how to become better at what he's doing. And they all think that he's some sort of god, because of stories about a god descending on them like decades ago, and teaching them things, which he figures it probably was his dad that actually did all that. And so he decides that he's like, well, I'm here now. F it. Gonna go nuts. And he starts to like give them technology, like try to help them improve on stuff. But he's also trying to keep all of his technology, like refrigerators and generators and stuff. He's trying to keep all that kind of as secret as he can. Then the Baron finds out, like, or the Duke finds out, and like everyone's trying to get a piece of him to kind of improve the whole country. And I'm like, I love the kind of real life Sim City, those aspects of like, what happens if you have somebody show up who doesn't know a lot, but they know enough to be like, I know that our modern ways of doing things are actually more effective, and what can I do to help these people like really improve, like give them a huge shot of technology to basically make them to like drag them into the future, while also dealing with the fact that all of these people seem to revere me as some sort of god because I have all this ability and knowledge and talent and technology, and not as like some sort of weird alien that they have to be scared of, and yet they're trying to use me for their own political purposes and stuff too. And Breaker says, the NGO worker superiority fantasy. Sure, it's kind of like Sid Meier's Civilization, as Aikatana says. It's like Akayatana. Sorry. But yeah, that's a fun little manga. That's a manga I'm reading, Jason Man. I can't remember the name of it. Someone who else I think who was reading it in the chat might be able to look it up and tell you what it is. Those kind of things I like. This story here, for I'm the Eighth Son, are you kidding me, does not sound like it's supposed to turn into that kind of story. Even though it starts with him like clearing a field so that everybody can work. And I'm like, maybe that'll be the thing. Maybe he'll be able to like help all that happen. And it's like, but that doesn't seem like that's what's going to happen based on the synopsis. So I'm going to watch a couple more and I'm going to see where we're going with it and see what happens. Hakushon Daimao 2020. 50 years after the 1969 anime. Okay. I don't... Wow, Tatsunoko production, Nippon Animation, wow. I don't know anything about it. Probably won't end up watching it. We'll definitely... Sorry, everybody. We'll definitely be watching Honzuki no Gakokujo Season 2. It's... I thought the first season was good. And I liked the manga well enough. And I think this will be also good. And I'm liking where the manga is now. So, yeah. I'm looking forward to getting to watch more of this. Hokago Teibo Nishi. Hina is an indoor-oriented girl who likes crafts and moves to a seaside town to continue with her high school education. She meets upperclassman Kuroiwa as she walks along an embankment and joins the mysterious embankment club. Hina dislikes sea creatures, but she fishes with her fellow club members and eats their catches. She gradually starts to appreciate the appeal of the ocean. Sure, I'll watch it. It is girls fishing. Seems to be one who has a fishing vest, but still fishes in her uniform because, of course, it's club activities. This looks like it's going to be fun. And then more Dogo Kobo. And, you know, maybe it won't be. Maybe I'll watch some of it and be like, but we'll see. Because I'm going to watch it. I'm going to see how it is. I don't even like fishing. There's a lot of things I don't like that I've watched anime about, though, so whatever. Idolish 7, not my thing. Jashin-chan Dropkick, second season, because you can tell it has a little apostrophe at the end. Didn't watch the original, not going to watch this. However, oh, crap. I clicked a thing. Never click a thing. Kaguya-sama wa kokurasetai. Tensai tachi no renai Zuno-sen. Second season of Kaguya-sama. This is great. I'm happy. I am way ahead in the in Kaguya-sama. This will be nowhere near where I am, but I am looking forward to it. I think it's fun and it's goofy. I love that it's comedy, romance, psychological, and to be honest, there's little dark moments in Kaguya for each individual character, but I think those even don't come up as often. But this is just so fun. I'm glad that I started reading it when I did. I'm glad I've kept up on it. I've had a really good time. There's lots of stuff that really feels like it's fillerish, like they could kind of take it out. So Black Sparrow, since you're asking, the point is the two center characters here. So we have Kaguya right there. She's the vice president of the student council at this very rich high school, and that is Shinomiya. No, wait, that's her name. Come on. That's Mizuki, isn't it? What the hell is this? Shirogane, thank you. That's Shirogane. He's the president. You can tell he's the president because he's wearing the president's band. That's what they wear when you're president of the student council. You get to wear that thing. You find that out way later in the manga. So the two of them like each other, but won't admit it to each other. And because they're incredibly competitive, because he's number one in the school, and I think she's not very far behind. The thing is this is the geniuses fight of love and war. I think is how they make it, something along that line. The idea with these two is that each one of them has the opinion that love is a battlefield, and the first person to say "I like you" loses. So what you need to do is you need to make the other one confess to you first, so you will have the upper hand in the relationship. And that sounds really manipulative and really controlling. They're just so stupid. Like, that's not, of course, the way that it is. It's incredibly childish, as does 28. They have the absolute wrong idea, obviously. And when I heard that, I'm like, really? People are recommending this? I'm like, yes, because they're smart about a lot of other things. They're smart about school and everything else like that, and they're good at being student council people, but they don't understand what love is. You don't know what love is, and they treat it like it's supposed to be war. That if you can come out as having the upper hand in the relationship, then you will feel very you will be very in charge of how things go, and you'll have that kind of, and it's so dumb. And they're both very sheltered kids as well. She's very, very rich. She's the daughter of one of the of a family that controls one of the largest zaibatsu in Japan, because that's always how it is. And he is not. He got here on the basis of academics alone, which is why he has to stay number one, so he can actually continue to have the scholarship. So he's killing himself working so hard. Kay Kazduke asks, she's so rich she's never made rice for herself? She is so rich she has no idea how rice is made. Let me put that out there for you. And then Chiya Fujiwara is amazing because she's goofy and fun. There's no love triangle here. There's no love triangle. She is just trying to have fun with her friends. She's also a member of the student council. She's just trying to have a good time. She's a member of the board gaming club, as well as the student council. She's the treasurer there, and it's just she's so great at just screwing up everything that's going on relationship-wise between these two without even knowing it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It really is. Ishigaya, I believe that's his name. He's kind of morose, and he's not really. He's not hikikomori, but he's kind of I'm all you Ryajus can go die kind of guy. He's a little like that, but not really. But yeah, the amount of stuff that these two don't know about love is great, and watching the two of them try to understand that, but also cannot admit to each other they like each other, or else everything will go to shit. And it makes the manga so satisfying as you get into the 100th chapter or so. It's been going on for a while, so I definitely watch it. The two on the edge here we will hear more about in this season, and that's Hayasaka way back there. That's Kaguya's maid, personal maid. She's the same age. They were raised together like you do, kind of deal, right? But she's been her maid for years, essentially. And she goes to the school in order to be available as being a maid, but nobody knows that she's the maid. They just think that they happen to be friend-ish with each other. And it's, yeah. She's also a bit of a personal assistant as well, which is because Kaguya has a lot going on in her life. Anyway. Yeah, so good. It's so good. Kakushikoto. This, I swear the manga was made on the backs of, I just thought of a great pun, how many more can I think of to make this manga go on forever? Kakushigoto means a secret, not like Himitsu means a secret. This is, I guess, a different kind of secret. And Kaku Shigoto is a drawing job. Shigoto is work, so drawing work. And so Kaku Shigoto, and the main character's name is Kakushi Goto. Goto, I believe, is his last name. Kakushi is his given name. Which makes her Hime Goto, which I believe is also supposed to be a pun. And he draws, he doesn't draw erotic manga. He draws dirty joke manga is what he draws. He draws Balls of Fury currently, or that was his first thing. I think he's drawing something different now. This is a very talky series. If you like Shaft, if you like Bakemonogatari style of people talking about stuff, this has that kind of people talking about stuff thing going on. However, don't run away. The whole point is he's trying to not let his daughter know what he does for a living, that he draws manga. And they put erotic manga, and it's dirty joke manga. It's not really erotic, but whatever. Because you never see anything erotic in the entire series at all. And so the whole point of this, he leaves the house when she leaves the house, like she walks one way to go to elementary school, he walks the other way, and walks to a clothing store where he hangs his suit up with a sign that says "Not for Sale." He puts on his work outfit, which is a t-shirt and shorts and a hemorrhoid cushion, because that's when you're working, you want to be comfortable. And he walks the rest of the way to his office, where he draws with a whole bunch of like his assistants and stuff. And I love this that Prancer Inflatable Reindeer says, Sainora Zetsubo Sensei is my favorite ever, so is this similar? Same author! That's why it looks like this. It's the same author. and it's fun, and it's funny, and it's fun and funny in the way that Zetsubo Sensei, when it was fun and funny, it's the same thing, that it's also fun and funny. Is it wholesome? I just say watch the first episode. Nothing untoward or bad or like whatever happens. Like the episode ends with like the father and the daughter both end up sleeping. Like they share a bed because the mother doesn't seem to be in the picture anymore. So the two of them just end up sharing the bed. But it's not weird or creepy or any of that other kind of thing. It's just that it's like, we have this big bed and you will sleep on one side and I'll sleep on one side. And that's weird in a Western context, obviously, because she's like 6 years old or 7 years old or however old she is. But it's actually just really wholesome. He just really cares about her and she's the most important thing in his life, and he's just trying to make sure that she's happy. And she really wants her dad to do well. And I think if you watch the first episode, you'll kind of get a sense of what the whole thing's about, because it's weird talking about concepts. And you can see people jumping from thought to thought to thought, and then you can see how those things kind of collide together. The first episode was just, I think, a really good way of showing how important it is to him to keep the secret, and how he's struggling day to day to try to keep the secret from her because of just weird interactions and stuff. Because they live in the same town, obviously they live in the same house. Anyway, it's fun. Kami no To, Tower of God. I believe this is based on the light novel that's also a manhwa. I'm not sure. I think Serge was recommending me this to read. He was reading the the light novel I think of it. I just was not. It never really grabbed the idea. Like it's like Rachel enters the tower. Ben goes through the door, faces challenges each floor of the tower as he tries to find his closest companion. Apparently, it's really good, but again, it's this thing of faces challenges each floor of the tower, and I'm like that. All that reminds me of is the Makoto Shishio arc in Rurouni Kenshin, where I was really enjoying Rurouni Kenshin, and they get to that point, and it was still good, but watching them fight through a frickin' house where every room they walk in, they get all separated and they all end up in a different room, and they have a person they have to fight, and then you have to spend an episode finding about that person's backstory, and then they actually have their fight, and it's like, and I'm just like, so that's kind of why I liked the Shishio arc in Rurouni Kenshin. I thought it ended quite well. I thought it was very satisfying in a way, but there's so much leading up to that, and then it's that tournament anime fighting sense that when this was pitched to me as a thing, I'm like, oh, it's just a tower that if you can make it to the top of it, you can become God or gain the power of God or whatever it was. I think is how he pitched it, and I was like, you can fight your way up the tower. I guess that's a thing, but it just didn't grab me. I know this is beloved though, so I think people are really gonna like this. I didn't watch Kingdom, so I didn't watch Puri-chan. Hoping to get to watch Kitsutsuki Tante Dokoro. It's an adaptation of another mystery novel, so I was like, oh, and I want to watch more mysteries, and I like mysteries that feel like a when they take place, like they have a sense of place as well. Like this is in Japan's Meiji era after the turn of the century. The idea of being fictionalized versions of real life poets and linguists, like this whole thing, it's like the idea of I'm just going to reappropriate these real ass people and turn them into make them into private detectives. And I'm like, okay, that seems okay, interesting. But yeah, this also seems at least from the image, I'm like, this is probably going to be a little bit lighthearted, and I'll probably enjoy that. And but it's also detectives and mysteries and stuff, and I like a lot of the more traditional eras in Japan. Like I like the Meiji era quite a bit. I studied it a lot in university because it was a turning point for Japan. So I think it'll be interesting to see this if I can actually get a chance to see it. Listeners, from the art direction alone, I'm kind of like, I'm intrigued by it because big sky, big clouds, clearly, we have these tanks, the stuff's rusting out. It's an open field, looks like a very flat field as well. I was like, okay, so what is all this about? Boy, we did this fast. In a post-apocalyptic future that has been torn apart by shadow creatures known as the Earless, humanity's heroes are the Players, who pilot mecha known as Equipment to battle the inhuman enemies while we're earning fame and fortune to boot. And I'm like, oh. Okay, you did the thing to me that you always do, where you take an English term and you make it it's the thing. Well, the Earless and Players and Equipment, and I'm like, oh Christ. And I'm hearing in the chat that people are saying, oh, this is pretty fun. This is a music robo anime. I like Macross 7. I like Macross Plus as well. I like Macross Frontier. Didn't like Macross Delta. But yeah, capitalized English nouns in a especially when they come fast and furious, really turn me off of a lot of sci-fi stuff, because I always end up feeling like there's a lot you're going to have to learn. I gave these things cool English names so that you will be interested in wanting to read them, or in watching them or hearing them or whatever. And sometimes I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. But I mean, now that I'm hearing people say this actually looks like it could be a lot of fun, and I don't know, maybe I'll watch it. Mecha's not ever been a huge thing for me. Music mecha, as people are saying, it does sound like an interesting idea. It's like, well, maybe I'll give it a shot. I don't know much about Mappa as a studio. I know they've done some stuff that I think They've been around for a long time, and I think I've watched. Pardon me, I think that they've watched some stuff that they've made, but we'll see. We'll see if I pick this up or not. Major second. No, not watching this baseball show this season. Moving on to Mukul Dreamy. Moving on to Nami yo Kiite Kure. We watched the first episode of this last night. I had no idea what to make of this. This is... I don't know. I love the character design. Like, I think she's a great looking character. That's Mirare Koda. And this is definitely this is adults having adult jobs, and this is based on radio. But man, does it like she fights a bear in the first episode, and I would just recommend watch the first episode and see if it's something you want to do or not. It's a little confusing to start with if you're kind of like, well, what is actually happening here? But I think it's worth watching this first episode. We got to the end of it, Heather and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this yet. Like, I feel like I need to watch more of it, but I have no idea what I want to do. So yeah, this is about being on the radio, and in the first episode she fights a bear. So you'll watch it and figure it out. I'm going to watch more of this. I had dropped No Guns Life, so I'm not watching this. Yes! So now we're talking about isekais and gaming. This new genre that is evolved, which is the villain character. What do they call them again? Come on, the villainous. Yes, the heroic villainous is very quickly becoming a genre. I'm reading the manga. Oh my god, this is so great. So, Katarina Klaes, if that's how we're going to pronounce her name, then whatever. So the show is Otome Game no Hametsu Flag Shikanai Akuyaku Reijo ni Tensai Shite Shimatta. There's probably more at the end of it, but of course it's been blown up. So everyone calls us Bakarina because this is Katarina. She's a villainess in this game called Fortune Lover, and she wakes up when she's very young, and she's like, "Oh shit, what am I doing? Because I died in Japan as however the hell old I was, a high school student or whatever. Wait," and then she starts meeting people. She's like, I'm the villainess in this game that I played. Shit, because I know what happened to the villainess. That we get all the way to the point where, as I played as the heroine, that she's been like abusing me the entire time. Like, she's been like harassing me and like, you know, and dunking my books and shit at the academy we all end up going to because it's all royals and shit. and she and then she gets exposed for having done it. And Katarina is then cast out and exiled, or maybe she gets killed, and like, depending on the routes that you're on and all that kind of stuff. And so she's like, shit, I'm the villainess. Okay. I'm going to end up getting engaged to the prince, and then he's going to cancel my engagement because when the heroine comes along, that was me when I was playing in the game, and me now as the villainess, I would have to start like harassing her, and then I'll get my engagement annulled, and that's no good. And so she's like, all I have to do is I have to not have any romantic relationships with any of the hot boys that are coming along, because it's an otome game, right? So no relationships. Maybe I can be friends with everybody, but I have to turn down and kill the flags, and I have to prepare myself to be exiled and turned into a commoner, so I better learn how to grow potatoes. And she's like a duke's daughter, or something along that line. And so she's got this all set up. And the thing is that every heroic villainous story kind of has the same idea. So if you end up reading a lot of them, they're all going to sound a little bit samey. But man, I love these because the unintended consequences of trying to change what's supposed to go on in the game now that you're living it as a real life, and trying to, as Cyan Moo says, all the flag burning that goes on, because it's like, there's a flag coming, nope, deflect. It's so funny to watch how things end up developing. I definitely watch this. If you are reading manga, you definitely need to look up anything that is along this line. There's lots of other ones. There's one called May I Please Ask Just One Last Thing. There is one that's about it's a villainous observation guide by her fiance, which was also very, very cute and funny as well. Yeah, the Meerkat, actually, because everyone in the chat right now is talking about Truck-kun, about how that's what happens in isekai stories, right? Somebody gets hit by Truck-kun, comes along and sends them off to their new another world. And there's a manga called Isekai Transporter, which is it's actually a manhwa, I believe, about a guy who drives that truck for a living. That's his job. And it gets into a lot of detail, but really just the first 2 chapters are kind of the best. But yeah, it's a really good treatment. I don't know if they'll ever make that into an anime. I'm like, it's a really good idea, but I'm just like, it gets a little too in depth with all the planning and all the other things they have to do, and I'm kind of like, you could have made this really fun, and you didn't, but it's fine, whatever. So anyway, there's lots of these style of heroic villainous manga that are out right now and light novels that are out right now. This one is top tier, and I believe they're calling it. I saw it in here somewhere. My next life is a villainess. All routes lead to doom. Thank you, Pat Bear. That's what Crunchyroll's calling it. My next life is a villainess: all routes lead to doom. This is brilliant. So do watch this. I am watching this, even though I know what's already going to happen. I have to see how they're going to animate it. I can't wait to hear how it's going to work. I think it's going to be fantastic. All right, Princess Connect Redive. I actually don't know anything about that. Hang on a second here. 17-minute timer.
Okay, 17 minutes and counting.
Thank you, Siri. Okay, Princess Connect Redive. I read it and I was just kind of like, it's about a bunch of people, fantasy world, but they're all cooking. I mean, there's the Epicurean Hall. They have delicious adventures, and I'm like, that could be interesting. Maybe I don't mind that. It's Cygames Pictures. Cygames. I mean, generally, if it's Cygames, you're going to assume that it's based on game stuff. I'm assuming the Cygames Pictures is like the studio that is just all their animation work that they're doing now. It is based on 2 mobile games. Thank you, Pat Bear. So yeah, sometimes I will pass on stuff that's based on mobile games, but at the same time, I also watched Uma Musume, Horse Girls, and that was really good. It was so dumb that it was so good, but it was really good. So don't ever count out stuff that's based on a mobile game just because the premise is idiotic, because you might get a really good director or really good writers who are like, oh, you know what, let's just lean into how stupid this is. This is a great idea. And it was just a lot of fun. So this could be good too. I like cooking anime. Maybe it will be good. So as Pat Bear says, the protagonist wakes up with no memories in an unfamiliar location. The protagonist then meets girls and comes closer to uncovering a hidden mystery. If that's based on... Yeah, that's actually literally this. Yuki, an amnesiac young man, and then a bunch of girls. That sounds like every other mobile game that would have a bunch of girls in it. All right, and I'm going to move on. I don't know if I'm going to watch that or not, but I'm going to move on. Okay. Shacho, Battle no Jikan desu. Shacho. So Battle no Jikan desu is battle time? It's battle time? This is an isekai strategy role-playing game. It's an anime adaptation. There's dimensional gates, portals, dungeons. The story imagines of the player as a company president who employs adventurers to take on dungeons filled with monsters for the treasures that lie within. Interesting idea. I'm guessing, because that's what you do in the game, is you're like, oh, there's a new portal, so go there and fight. And you hire adventurers to work on your behalf, to work for your company and do stuff. And it's like, okay, you recruit and train fighters, and then you send them into battles, and I don't know. If this is any good, let me know, but I'm just kind of like, nah. Shadowverse, no. Just looking at the art makes this feel incredibly shonen fighting anime, so he gets a mysterious smartphone. Oh, hey, popular digital card game, Shadowverse. Okay, that's okay. Card games on smartphones? Who likes Sakura Wars? Ooh, I know. Who remembers Sakura Wars? Anybody? Who here is over the age 35? I never gave a shit about this show ever, or game, or anything. I didn't have a Sega Saturn. I didn't give a crap about this. I had friends and other people I knew who did know about this. So hey, new Sakura Wars, the animation. It just doesn't mean anything to me. I imagine if you're really, I mean, that's Sakura right there. That's the thing. It's a tactics game, if I remember correctly. Maybe it's good. I don't know. If nothing else, I'm sure it'll be treated with a lot of respect because it is a very long-running series. And Dark Morport says Sons Again's doing this. It could be interesting. I think this is really definitely for people who care about the franchise or want to learn more about the franchise. I don't think you're going to be in a position... I don't think it's going to turn out like trash. If nothing else, it's like, oh, we better do a good version of this because people would be relying upon there being a good version of, Sakura. What you don't bring back Sakura Wars as animation unless it's like, we have a game that's coming up we need to sell, and we also really need to, we really want to impress upon people that, hey, remember this, and it's still good, that kind of thing. Anyway, Shironeko Project, Zero Chronicle. I read that, White Cat Project. Then I started reading this, and kind of didn't... Where is the white cat, by the way, in this image? Because I'm not seeing a white cat. They meet a mysterious girl named Iris and a talking white cat, and I'm seeing thighs... And I'm seeing a weird Totoro rabbit Care Bear thing. But I see no white cat. So, yeah. Don't think I'm going to watch this. Even though, Kyle becomes consumed by darkness. And it's like, okay. Cool. Have fun, Kyle. I am not watching or reading Shokugeki no Soma. So I am not watching or reading the 5th season. Same with Sword Art Online. Okay, so I watched the first episode of Tamayomi. This is a high school baseball, as opposed to Major Second, which is middle school baseball. This was a very slow start. I'm not impressed by it. I'm not like, oh shit, I gotta watch more of this. The key art makes it look great, right? We're kind of jumping immediately into... I'm trying to get a good shot of this for myself as well. The key art makes it look amazing. We're here at a stadium early. We're going to warm up. The whole team's here. The first episode is about how Yomi, who's the main character with the brown, basically in this show also anybody who there's a few people who have black hair, but for the most part you'll be able to tell who are the actual characters and who aren't, because you have to draw them differently so they don't fade into the mobs. She goes to a high school where they don't have a baseball team, a women's baseball team, and she's fine with that because she's given up baseball even though she's she's worked really hard to become a really good pitcher. She meets a childhood friend who learned how to catch, and they used to play catch like in the old days, and her friend Tamaki that's the Tama in Tamayomi, and Yomi is the Yomi in Tamayomi. The two of them used to play catch when they were very young. Yomi learned how to throw this magic ball, this magic throw, whatever they're calling it. And Tamaki worked really hard to become a really good catcher in like a different school. And now that they've gotten back together at the same high school, they just kind of walk past each other. And the two blonde girls who have very similar hair but reversed are twins, by the way. That one there and that one there, I believe it is. Because I don't think she's not. It's down to their haircuts. But the four of them go hang out outside, and the pitcher and catcher start playing catch with each other. And then Yomi, because Yomi ends up throwing her the magic ball, and Tama ends up catching it, which Yomi's previous catcher and her other team forbid her from using that pitch because she's like it's crazy, it's wild, it's uncatchable, like nobody can catch this ball. It's just a really deep sinker, I think is all it really is. And so it's just because the other catcher didn't want to put in the work to try to learn how to catch this ball, but Tamaki's able to catch it first time, and they're like, oh, you can catch it, we should start a baseball team. Yeah, that's the first episode. That took 22 minutes. I explained it to you with a lot of parentheticals. It was really slow kind of getting to this point, but I think it's going to pick up faster and maybe get more interesting. And I was like, if you don't make this work faster than you are selling it, I don't know if I'm going to want to watch it. But hopefully it'll be good. This isn't like soft tenny. This isn't soft Yakyu. This isn't like they're playing hard-ass baseball. So yeah, I'm hoping it's not the end of the season, the start of the first game, days one. I'm hoping that this is literally, we're going to see them start working and actually get to a point where they're like playing in a professional tournament or whatever. And I'm usually not terribly hot on sports anime, and I'm like, I'm going to just see how this goes. Maybe I'm not into it. Okay. Tomika Kisuda Gattai, Earth Granner. No. That's set up to sell whatever the hell these are. Tsugu Tsugumomo. I didn't watch Tsugumomo, so not interested. Yeah. Watanuki-san Chino. That is some CG. Holy shit. I didn't think I could pick that out and just but those are all CG models, aren't they? Because they all have same face. Wow. Anyway, it's a slice of life drama? Oh, whatever. I don't really care. Third season of Yahari Ore no Seishun love comedy wa Machigatte Teiru. All members of the Service Club Band. Service Club Band together to host a school prom. Hachiman. Feelings into words. Don't know anything about this. So, moving on. Yesterday o utatte. Yesterday o utatte. Okay, I read this, forget what it is. Here we go. A story of love and humanity following four boys and girls trying to live their best lives through hardship and turmoil in a small town on a private rail line just outside of Shinjuku. Minor misunderstandings lead to big complications and their various feelings become entangled. A story of daily life lived 49% looking back, 51% looking forward. So there's going to be lots of... That might actually be a part of the whole thing, looking back and coming forward. Romantic drama, slice of life. That girl has some sort of Corvette on her shoulder. I'm going to watch it. Hey, Pat, thank you for coming by. It was great to have you here. I'm going to be done here in a bit. Go check out Pat Bear's channel. He streamed the Build with Bear workshop. He has a YouTube channel, I think, as well. But yeah, go check out Pat. He's a friend of the show. He does a lot of stuff at a lot of great panels at PAX as well that we've been on. So, all right. This is, and Dark Morford has brought up an interesting thing. Dogo Kobo has done some good drama series, as Shauna said here, like Plastic Memories, which I watched. Comedy's the bread and butter. This should be interesting. If this is an original by them versus this is them picking up a story, and I have no idea if Plastic Memories was an original or not. I like Plastic Memories all right. It didn't blow my mind. Asimek, I said some kind of Corvid on her shoulder, not some kind of Corvette. Anyway, I want to see this. I don't know if I'll get all the way through it. Oh, it's a manga from the 90s. Okay. I don't know if I'll get all the way through it. Oh, I see you, Asimek, you heard me wrong. Okay, your brain heard it wrong. I apologize. I'm not trying to correct myself. Be clear. I'm sorry. I want to be sure everyone can hear me properly, and there's a bit of air in the room. Just want to be sure I'm talking to people properly. I'm going to watch this. We'll see how far I go through it. Dicey One read the manga, says it's pretty slow going. That might be just what I need. We'll see how it rolls out. Maybe we will get bored of it. Maybe I will watch it by myself. Who knows what will happen. Moving on. Not watching the 7th anime in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series. It uses a new type of duels called Rush Duels. Great. Alright, TV shorts here. Ano yo no subete wa Obakegumi. It's a gag anime, so I would watch it. It has yokai in it. I would probably almost watch it. I don't know anything about it, though, so maybe I won't. I don't know. Bang Dream shorts. Damn right I'm watching this. Best Satsu Olympia Kiklos. Demetrios, a timid and kind vase painter in ancient Greece who dislikes sports and competitions, is one day forced to come up with a game to compete with the mayor of the neighboring town in order to save his village. While hiding in a large vase outside his workshop, lightning strikes the vase Demetrios is in, transferring him to Tokyo, Japan during the 1964 Summer Olympics. Boy, that sounds really familiar. Why is that? Well, it's because it's the same person who did Thermae Romae. So... if you like the story of a guy who lives in Rome who goes into a bath and pops out in a bathhouse in Japan and is like, look at all those really cool ideas, and then goes back to his bathhouse in Rome and is like, I'm gonna make bottles full of milk people can drink, and this is gonna be fun, I think, because it's gonna watch the PV too. The PV is very interesting because the guy Demetrios is apparently animated as a Greek bust, or not just a bust, but a whole figure. But he's like 3D animated, and all of the characters are all flat 2D sprites, which just turn and don't have any depth to them. It's gonna be real weird. It's like animated this way on purpose. Watch the PV. I swear, it's like, oh Christ, what's happening? So I'm looking forward to seeing it. Corey actually sent me the PV because he's like, you need to see this. I'm like, I was never gonna watch it, but what's it look like? Ah, yes, I'm gonna watch it now for sure. This is great. Okay. Komata G-san. If I can find a source for this, I'm going to watch this. It's about a 60-year-old man who likes to make old ladies' hearts flutter with his handsome speech and charming behavior. I think it's going to be interesting. It's a comedy. There's shorts. It'd probably just be like, look at how suave this 60-year-old man is. Whatever. Michiri Wanko animation. It's a spin-off of Michiri Neko. Haven't seen either. No, don't know anything about Moto Majime ni Fumajime Kaikatsu Zorori. That's a sequel, though. Neko Neko Nihonshi. 5th season. Oh, there we go. Stop. We're going to take a break after I finish this up. So I'm going to... Probably in the next 20 minutes, because I'm not watching too many other things, I don't believe. But yeah, lots of stuff this season that I am interested in so far. Norimono Man depicts various vehicles as characters in the Mobile Land Island. All right. Protagonist Carcoon arrives at the island as a delivery worker. Neat. Origami Ninja Koyan. Oh, that's... Is this actual stop-motion paper? Maybe it's not stop-motion paper. Maybe it's animated to be like stop-motion, but with like realistic-looking models. I like it, though. It's kind of cool. I don't think I'll ever find a source for this, though, but... I would only want to watch it because of the animation, though, and because I don't really care much about even the idea of the story. Really, the design is interesting, so... Popcolis. Inspired by the 2018 line sticker set. I will just keep going. Maybe it's fun. I'm not interested. TV Yaro Nanana Nanana Nanana. TV Yaro Nanana. 3rd season of whatever this is. Kaibutsu Kraken wo Oe. Nah. Plunderer, still rolling on. Railgun T, still rolling. I'll be waiting a while to watch that with the Banked, I guess. And then we're into the new movies already, so not much left over from the previous season. Oh, everyone is watching the PV now. That's awesome. Yeah, someone's going to be subbing that for sure. I cannot wait, so... Lucha Libre, we are getting to the end, actually. I'll be probably wrapping up in the next 10-15 minutes. So Digimon Adventure, Last Evolution, Kizuna. Again, for people who like Digimon, there you go. Donika Haruhibi. Okay. So this is a movie, but it looks like it's based on like intertwining lives somehow. I might watch it, but I'm not going to go to my way to look for Donika Naruhibi. Anyway, move on some more. The Given movie. Oh yeah, Given was a nice series. I liked it. If the movie. Okay, so the film is based on the relationship between the band's bassist, the drummer, and the drummer's roommate. An ex-boyfriend. I'm sure I finished the Given movie. I'm pretty sure I did. Probably. I don't really care enough about this to go looking for this movie either, though. Like, I'm sure if you're like a really big fan of Given, you'd probably be into this. But I liked the show, and I was like, and now I'm done watching the show, and that's okay. So, Monster Strike the movie. Don't know anything about that. Nakitai watashi wa neko kaburu. This feels like another tourism movie because it's literally telling you where it's set. Set in Aichi. Though, second year junior high student. Okay, so interesting. Fall in love with her classmate Kento Hinode. She pursues Kento every day. He takes no notice. While carrying secrets, she tells no one. She continues to pursue Kento. She discovers a magic mask that allows her to transform into a cat named Taro. Eventually be able to make her unable to transform back into a human. Okay. Oh, that might be cute. I don't know. I don't know. So she's the cat, ultimately, or she can turn into the cat. I mean, the cat named Taro, I'm sure she doesn't pick the name. I'm sure that Kento calls it Taro because that's what you call a cat Taro Otama, I guess. Yeah, but whatever. Omoi, omoware, furare. Furare. Yes. I think I'd heard things about this supposed to be pretty good. It's about people who have two girls who have different views on love and two boys who have different views on love. Relationships. Dramatic romance. Could be alright. I don't know. butt detective movie. Pretty cute. Miracle Leap. Let's get all of AKB48 back together, I guess. Whatever. Psycho-Pass 3 First Inspector. I guess if you're watching Psycho-Pass, you've got a movie coming. Yes. I'll be honest. I haven't watched the first 3 Evangelion movies because I was waiting for them all to come out so I could sit down and kind of just watch one a night to get through the whole thing. And everyone was waiting for the 3rd movie for a very long time, and now we've been waiting for the 4th movie for an incredibly long time. It's scheduled to come out. PMavers is saying, I don't believe it's coming out, so maybe it's not even doing that. June 27th anyway, so I don't know. Don't know what to make of it. Though, what's interesting is the way they've chosen to romanize this here. Up here it says sequel to Evangelion Shin Gekijoban Q. Gekijoban is usually how they refer to a movie. I don't know what the actual translation of that is, but if this is Evangelion New Gekijoban, this is New Evangelion Gekijoban. So, is it meant to be... It's not meant to be like a reboot of it, or whatever. It's probably meant to be like... This could be that the series is now pivoting again, and you're going to get a newer ending to the whole idea. I don't know. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just how they chose to write it down. Rondo. I didn't watch Starlight. Or rather, I stopped watching Starlight. It felt... God, do I want to get into how I feel about Starlight? Adamant Cheese. Probably this new Evangelion movie would technically be it's the 4th movie. I don't know if calling it 4.44 like they've been calling them 3.33 and all that kind of stuff. They were really only, I think, calling them that because it's like, here's the first movie. Well, okay, here's 1.1, and we're calling it that because it's on Blu-ray and there's been slight whatevers. Oh, it's theater edition. Thank you, Darkmoor Ford. That's what Gekijoban means. This recaps the entire anime series, so maybe I should watch it so I could watch the whole thing and just be done with it in the course of 2 hours. More Alpacas basically sums it up in like 9 words. Starlight apes Utena's style, but doesn't have the substance. That's pretty much how I feel about it too. You look at it and you're like, oh, this amazing shit is happening. It's not that amazing though, is it? Yeah, something's missing about it. It's like it... Something about Review Starlight really felt like we have a job to do in telling this style of story. Don't forget to make things not make sense. Do your best to explain and show all of the things so that so that you can show off how cool this stuff is. Like, I mean, I would only ever be pulling for like it's like when Ikuhara made a he's like, oh, you know what? People want me to make a new version of Utena. Okay, I'm making a movie for Utena. I'll do that. I'll completely rethink it. Like, I can't give you a compilation version of Utena in a movie, but what I can do is I can rethink the entire series and turn that into a movie in a completely different style that gives you the same story, but in a very new way that makes you feel like you're watching an entirely new thing the entire time, but you're still getting all the points of what should be happening in the series. And that's interesting, right? And so that's what this kind of felt like. It's like, we're going to make a thing that's like that. We're going to be compared to that. So let's make a thing that's like that. But something about it, I really felt like it lacked some stuff to me. So, yeah. Review Starlight was directed by one of Ikuhara's proteges, which was why you would have that kind of people saying things about. It's like, oh well, you certainly looked like you were trying to do the same thing that your mentor did. But anyway, I'm moving on to Anpanman. Not gonna watch that. Violet Evergarden movie. I didn't watch Violet Evergarden, so I won't be watching the movie. Let's move into OVAs and whatnot. Seven Seeds. Didn't watch the first one. Don't actually know anything about it, in fact. Aikatsu on Parade is getting a net animation. Asatir Mirai no Mukashi Banashi. 2050 Riyadh. Grandmother Asma takes her cherished grandchildren on a whirlwind tour to the past. Showing heritage and history of the Arabian Peninsula through retellings of the region's most beloved folktales. With the help of their robotic cat, Anis, which is that right there, children learn their modern-day dilemmas are no match for the words of wisdom passed by generation to generation through their grandmother's fascinating stories. It's interesting. Huh. Still, I don't know if I'll watch it. Baki. Didn't watch the first Baki, so I hear it's astounding. Beyblade Burst, Super King, Cinderella Girls, Gekijo, Extra Stage. I'm not into Idolmaster. Dorohedoro gets an omake. I don't know what that's gonna. One episode, so maybe it's just a movie. Gundam Build Divers. Not interested in that. Right, Heya Camp gets an extra adaptation of a manga collaboration with the Yamaha Motor Company, included as an extra with the Blu-ray release. So that'll be interesting. That'll be really. Dorohedoro had an anime already. Richard Erman. This last season, in fact, in winter. So go check that out. Interesting that it's branded as Heya Camp and not as Yudo Camp. But whatever. If I can find a copy of this, I'll probably watch it. I think that'll be interesting. It'll probably just be like a short, 3-minute, 5-minute thing, probably again, maybe 10 minutes. And if it's in association with the Yamaha Motor Company, it's going to involve Rin, probably, the one on the scooter. She might end up with looks like from the storyboards they're showing, it's definitely going to concentrate on her having some sort of bike. But also her grandfather goes motorcycle camping as well, so maybe it'll involve him a bit, but we'll see. I know it's controversial that we're getting more standalone complex. I am going to watch this. I watched the PV of it, and I was like, yeah, you know what? Fine, sign me up. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with the level of animation, like how they're animating it. I'm kind of like, whatever, sure, go nuts. I'll watch it. Because it's like anything else, right? If it turns out to be like the way the Berserk TV series got animated, then obviously everyone will be pissed off, and you'd be like, well, don't watch that. And I'll be like, okay, I'm not going to do that. This could be a lot of fun. This could be a little boring. I never finished watching Standalone Complex. No, wait. Never finished watching Arise. I think I watched the first 2 episodes. I think I tried to watch the 3rd episode. I might have just been too tired and fell asleep. I have to get back to watching them at some point. Because I would like to watch it all and kind of see what the whole story is, but I really like Standalone Complex. And if the idea for this is like, well, it's more Standalone Complex, it's like, okay, great, then that's fine, whatever. Kyoryu Shoujo Gaoko Season 2. Little girl turns into a dinosaur. She is a dinosaur girl. 2nd season. I'm not watching it, so. Orphan, unaired episode 14. Didn't watch it, don't care. This seems so familiar, but this also is definitely like, look at my fucking pauldrons, and this is definitely feels very fantasy, I guess. Well, it looks like it's mecha sci-fi too, so whatever, it's fine. Saizuru Dobutsu o Yarushikanai. No, didn't watch the thing associated with that. Sol Levante. Levante? Sol Levante.
Production IG, who I've always really respected. Don't know what any of this means, and with movies and OVAs and stuff, it's hard. Oh, that's why it looks familiar. What's Out of the Brave is Keith Courage. Ah, thank you, the techie man. Holy crap. Zashiki Watashi no Tatami-chan. Kind of, I like gag comedies, and I like them when they have yokai in them generally too. I don't know if this is going to be one I watch, though. Just the idea of like, oh, you know, the Zashiki Watashi is unemployed and has to find like, you know, jobs and pay for gas and water and electricity and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, okay. Maybe that's not what I want. It might not be what I want. And so we'll scroll back through this. Hope I didn't cause anyone any havoc by doing that big scroll. But yeah, lots of, like, as I'm scrolling down here, I'm like, gonna watch that, not that, but that, not that, but that, not that, not that, not that, but that. And it's like, that's a lot of picks already for spring, which is great. And I put a lot of, like, I have a lot of stuff on my list already, and I'm just feeling very positive about going into spring, because there's been a lot of, as we all know, with how things have been worldwide, with people cutting short production and all sorts of different things, there's a lot of tension as to whether or not people will be able to keep making anime. And I mean, if you want to know what the process of making anime is like, a good source that's also anime is Shirobako. That will give you a sense of what some studios would go through to make a series, no matter how like dramatized some of that might be. I imagine it's also heavily rooted in a lot of fact. So you can have people working from home drawing stuff, but you still need people to be able to coordinate bringing those things together. And there's lots of people, and if you ever look at the closing credits, there's lots of people involved with making animation. And if you're farming a lot of it out to Korean companies or to Chinese companies, they're going to have to deal with coordinating those things as well. And I really thought what was going to happen is we'd see a lot of things dropped in favor of reruns of stuff, because companies might not just be able to get things onto the air. And that could still happen. Like, I don't really know what is or is not going to make it to air. All I know is what I see on AniChart.net at this point. But what I see is a lot of stuff that's fun and interesting, and it's things that I've already been reading. And, you know, we've got a lot of choices, and you know, the world hasn't stopped turning. And I mean, shit, like KyoAni had a terrible thing happen to them last year, and they're making a movie now. So, you know, people can live through tragic circumstances, and it doesn't have to be the end of anything and everything. So we'll see what the we'll see what happens as time goes on for this season, especially, and then what it'll be like getting into summer. But I want to thank you today, everybody, for joining me for this. If you do have questions at all, please feel free to ask me about stuff in chat. I might stick around for a little while in chat, actually, to type and talk to you guys as well. And I mean, if you had a question now you wanted me to answer on screen, I could do that too, but it's probably just easier for me to type this stuff out and just cut it to an end. Coming up next will be Rhythm Cafe, I believe tomorrow. That's always at 4 p.m. Pacific. They're playing more Crypt of the Necrodancer. It's always hard to find things that you can remote play that are actually going to work properly. If you want to come hang out with us, I want to thank you MTV CDM for throwing a lot of these things up as well for me to talk about. If you want to come hang out with a lot of people, including a lot of the Lurk crew, come to our Discord, discord.gg/LRR. There are thousands of people there, which means there's an awful lot of stuff being talked about, and there's a place to talk about Lowly Rain Run content, but talked about other things as well. I want to thank everybody who has been supporting us so far. You could do that through, I mean, you could just PayPal us some cash. That is a thing that people do apparently, and that's great. But through our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. And thank you for everybody who've been very generous with your donations. And if you have had to pull back on your donation, that's fine. What's important is that you have to look after yourself and the people around you. And if that means having to take a few dollars out of our pocket, we're not going to die because of it. And I want to thank everybody else who has said, hey, I'm going to give you maybe a couple bucks more because I can afford to do that, and I want to help support you guys. I've had somebody actually write me and be like, since I'm not going to school right now, I actually don't have any expenses, so here's a couple bucks a month. And I'm like, that's unintended consequences. Holy crap, I'm sorry a lot of you are stuck at home, unable to work and do whatever, and I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves and taking care of each other. But yeah, so I mentioned the Patreon. I believe I mentioned our YouTube memberships. You can join. You can become a member at the main youtube.com/loadingreadyrun. You can become a member of that. That allows you to submit questions for when we do Askler. And then, of course, there's also the Twitch subs. And if I do this properly, I will be able to see Twitch subs. Ah, yes. In fact, I probably should just pop to the booth on that. And I can just read them out. You don't have to see them all. So Cranston Snort subscribed for 27 months. Thank you. Thavle... See, it's weird. I want to say something different, but Thavleifrim for 43 months. Damn, I Am Pretty subscribed for 53 months. Mangadex got a sub, thanks to the Maricat. I go to Mangadex myself. And Funimation just subscribed, thanks to the Maricat. Lord Byron 47 subscribed for 39 months. Thank you very much for that. And Junior Roll subscribed for 42 months. Thank you and welcome back to all of you, in fact. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. Excuse me. And the up next was what was happening on Sunday. And you're going to hear more about what's happening throughout the week. We're keeping it rolling. A lot of streaming out of our house, obviously. Still streams from the moon base when we can get people in there to do that. Thank you, thank you, Maricat, for subscribing Anime for Humanity. And Blue Eidolon, that's how it's pronounced. Eidolon, you goofy, or whatever the thing. Anyway, Blue Eidolon, MTG, just subscribed. Welcome to the channel, Blue. Let me wrap up then. Let's take this home. I'm going to go to the going out screen and run some ads. You guys have a great rest of your day, and we will see you again next time.